My report tonight is just to bring you up to speed on where we are with preparing a grant application for the FY2017 Tiger funding. As you know, we applied last year and we were not awarded. We were told in a debriefing session that we submitted an excellent application. It made it to the secretary's desk. However, we were in the wrong geographical location to receive funding in that round. So we're moving forward with an application again this year. And the criteria has changed just a little bit for the upcoming round, and it's in our favor. Special consideration is being given to rural projects, and that is a community that's 50,000 or less. And so the components in a rural project that they're looking for is to improve access to reliable, safe, and affordable transportation, improve infrastructure condition, access to public health and safety, promote regional connectivity, and facilitate economic growth and competitiveness. And those are all things that we had addressed in our previous application. However, it just happens to fall now that it's more of a specialized focus, and that really actually is good for us. Just one of the things to mention, we had named the project last year the East Moscow Multimodal Infrastructure Project, and it incorporated several projects that were completed in the last fiscal year. In your handout it listed those, but the projects on D Street for infrastructure, and then by the Moscow Middle School, those types of things. And the Ball Fields project was one of those too. So we had several projects that were listed in our application last year that we're going to need to adjust the project costs and take that out. Some of those numbers included match money that we had incorporated into our total project costs. So looking at this upcoming round, we still have the same project components. We have the area, the larger section there, which is 6th Street, or excuse me, 6th Street, all the way around in front of Mountain View Park. The majority of those improvements are from F Street around to the park. Most of that area is already completed. The section you see in the black area there is a project that's been funded through ITD under the Local Highway Technical Assistance Council. It's called our STP Urban Project, and that is the one that completes the infrastructure between Joseph and 6th Street, and also included a proposed roundabout at the corner of Joseph, or excuse me, 6th and Mountain View. Also included in this area, we have a bridge to replace the existing bridge on Joseph and, or excuse me, 6th Street and Mountain View. It's a culvert bridge at this point, and we would turn that into a multimodal bridge that would have sidewalk, and I think bike lane was included in that also, and also change the dynamic of the culvert situation there isn't the greatest right now for the Paradise Creek area, and it really needs to be improved environmentally. There'll be some benefits to the changes to that. And then the next section we're looking at is White to Joseph, and then State Highway 8 to White. So there's the different components, and we have broken them down so that we have project costs divided for each of those in case they aren't able to fund all of it, or they ask us to reduce our project scope. We have some options available in there. The total project is 1.54 miles. It includes road widening with 2 travel lanes and turn lanes where needed, curb gutter, bike lane, sidewalks on both sides, or a path system. And we also then have a proposed roundabout on Joseph Street. The project would also include a traffic signal at State Highway 8 in Mountain View, and as I just had stated, we'll replace the bridge on 6th and Mountain View. It also includes the utility improvements, retaining walls where needed, and then we'll also need to do some right-of-way purchase and possibly some easements throughout the corridor in order to make all the room for all of the infrastructure improvements that we need to do. one of the focuses of the Tiger program is that there's a benefit cost analysis within that, and you have to have several project benefits to meet and that we have to address. And so these are the ones that we addressed in our last application, and they are still feasible under this application. We have re-engaged FCS consultants who helped us prepare the last benefit cost analysis for the application, and they're working with us again, updating our data and working with us to look and see if there's other types of benefits we can highlight in this application. Again, these are additional project benefits that we'll be addressing, things that the project will benefit the community, the roadway, the environment, those types of things. Our anticipated request amount is going to be approximately $18 million. Matching funds are not required for a rural community, however, they're encouraged in order to be competitive. In our last request, we estimated our match to be approximately $3.4 million. The project has been reduced because of those other projects that are now completed. So what we're looking at is Les and I will be bringing forth additional information to you next Monday at committee. We plan to present to both committees. And the reason for that is the submittal date is October 16th. However, there is a huge problem submitting on the day of the due date, and so we really need to get that application submitted. For my own sanity, hopefully by Friday, October 13th, at least have our major components in there, and we can do a resubmittal if we need to, or we can also decline to submit if we need to, but we're really focused on trying to get it done by the 13th. They would look at making an award announcement in the early spring of 2018. They require that we have all of the funds obligated by September 30, 2020, and prior to obligation, we would need to have our environmental analysis done and have the right-of-way and the easements completed and have preliminary design completed. The project costs have to all be expended by October 30th, 2025. Just a couple of notes here. I did look at the Idaho Transportation Improvement Plan last Friday, and the STP Urban project is scheduled for construction in 23-24, which falls very well with a proposed project here. If we were awarded, we could hopefully we could schedule everything so that the entire project could be completed at one time. And as I said earlier, we're focused on bringing additional information to you at committee on Monday for both committees, and then we would be coming forth with the final outcome of the application with a summary on October 16th and be requesting ratification at that point in time. Just a couple of other footnotes to this. As I said, we'll be having a reduced project scope and costs because of the projects that have already been completed. And I think, just to abbreviated session of updating you for tonight, I think that is all that I had on my notes.
So the update that you wanted to present, the report that you're presenting to the council, you want everyone up here to be aware of what you're going to be bringing forward next Monday at Public Works and Finance and Admin, getting the sign-off then, getting the application, and then bringing the final report back on the 16th to council. Is that correct?
For ratification, yes.
Okay. Walter?
Thank you, Mayor. A few questions. Can you count the completed projects as match, like we do in block grant?
Not the ones that were completed in a prior fiscal year. Anything that may happen from the point that the Transportation Secretary says you have been awarded, and that could be a year and a half before you actually get your funds obligated. So they'll let you include those projects and those funds.
Like maybe the 3rd Street Bridge?
That could be an option.
Okay, if I may?
Yeah, go ahead.
for less, are the Mountain View bridges, the current Mountain View bridges, all compatible with the width that this is proposing?
I believe that is the case. They were constructed actually prior to my time here, but in looking at them over the years, I believe that they are wide enough to accommodate this.
I was thinking I might have heard over the years a rumor or statement or question as to whether or not one, and I don't know which one, might be smaller than the others, but I'm sure you'll check on that. And Mr. Mayor, if I may, is the east-west Mountain View from what we used to call the first 90 to the second 90, is that all in the city?
No, it is not currently all in the city, and so that's part of what we'd have to work through with the Highway District.
Would it need to be in the city to do this?
The section between,
Mountain View Park and a portion, kind of in the middle of that east-west
yeah,
section.
I'm looking at the city boundaries, and there's a section that we'll need to have probably an agreement with the Highway District to do those improvements. And we had a letter in the last application from the Highway District for that. At that point in time, they had also committed to possibly including rock, yes.
Okay, and finally, a rough idea of how much right-of-way will have to be acquired? You're going to need it for the roundabout at 6th.
Certainly at the roundabout locations, the 6th Street would be the other project. Joseph potentially would need it as part of the Tiger project, and that east-west section is where it's narrowest, and so potentially we'd need right-of-way through that area. We will have to lay out the actual footprint with the existing right-of-way and see what we've got to work with.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the report. Unless you got other things you want to add, we'll move on.
Just one note that once a project is chosen by the Transportation Secretary, then they hand us over to work with our State Department of Transportation to really put the whole project together and meet all the guidelines, so that we would be working with the Idaho Transportation Department at that point. And we have a great relationship with them, so I don't anticipate any problems.
Thank you, Lisa. I think the committees will be looking forward to seeing your presentation next Monday.